Provide all them information to you.
Well, let me ask you this. I was just talking to her. What if she told me that you beat the piss out of her and you jumped on top of her and started punching her in the face? Should I just go ahead and take that?
Okay, but don't you know?
It's your side of the story. Give your side.
You just talking to her though. With the information that she gave you, can't she tell you?
You want me to just take everything she says?
I'm not from here.
Okay, but you want me to just take everything she says as fact?
All I'm just saying is I'm not from here. I don't know her exact answer.
Okay, that's fine.
That's what I'm saying.
If my mind gets ruined, my life is ruined, because then you can't think, you can't do things, you don't know what the fuck you're doing in life. It's like literally everything is the quality of your ability to think. And I knew that I was putting that in jeopardy.
Victim's identity will not be released in accordance with Marcy's law. On October 29, 2025, at approximately 2:15 p.m., the victim entered the Miami Gardens Police Department, accompanied by her attorney, to report an incident.
Joe Rogan thinks the unreleased body cam footage reveals disturbing details and feels Gervonta Davis needs to seriously work on his personal discipline and mental state once he gets out of this situation.
And that you can overcome all those feelings of weakness that are inside of you.
Yeah. And it acts as like a forcing mechanism for discipline.
Yeah.
And to work through that.
Tank Davis now faces a police investigation after his alleged victim pressed charges, bringing unwanted attention from law enforcement, news outlets, and intense public examination of what actually happened.
What do you mean, what do I mean?
I had somebody I have a driver that would take my way.
Get him over here then. If you're going to kick someone out of your house,
Sir, you don't have to do that.
I don't have to, I'm sorry. I don't have to do what?
Bravo, 17 miles
Put your hands on her?
No, I did not. Of course she's going to tell you everything. Okay,
did?
well,
I'm
why
just
did you ask
asking
me
you.
that? Why did you ask me
Because that's my job, my man. That's my job.
Joe Rogan breaks down how Gervonta Davis should redirect his energy towards something that genuinely motivates him and sparks real excitement, since Rogan suspects Tank has lost his authentic love for the sport of boxing.
Finding a pursuit or a passion or something that you truly love that's engaging and challenging, that is exciting for you, and it advances you as a person. And the lessons that you learn in pursuing that thing, you apply to everything in your life.
Everything in life, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything in life.
Miami Gardens Police Department issued a public statement confirming they're actively hunting for Gervonta Davis. They've partnered with the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force regarding serious charges, including false imprisonment, battery, and attempted kidnapping connected to his former girlfriend.
Accompanied by her attorney to report an incident that occurred on October 27, 2025. According to the victim's statement, at approximately 4:15 a.m. while working, the victim was approached by Mr. Davis. The victim reported that Mr. Davis grabbed her by her back of her head, pulling her by her hair with one hand and by her throat with the other. He forcefully escorted her down a stairway and toward the parking garage while maintaining his grip on the back of her head. Upon reaching the parking garage, the victim reported that Mr. Davis released her, at which point she was able to run towards her coworkers for safety. The victim further reported that she has known Mr. Davis since 2022, and they were previously involved in an intimate relationship for approximately 5 months, which ended about a month prior to the incident. Lead detective Gary Florencio obtained and reviewed video surveillance footage that corroborates key elements of the victim's statement. As a result of the diligent and hard work of our Special Victims Unit, an arrest warrant has been issued for Gervonta Bryant Davis on the following charges: battery, false imprisonment, and attempted kidnapping. The investigation determined that Mr. Davis used force to restrain and attempt to remove the victim from the location against her will. At this time, the Miami Gardens Police Department is actively working with the United States Marshals Fugitive Task Force to locate and apprehend Mr. Davis.
A user named Hassan posted on X with this update. Police sources claim they have video evidence showing Gervonta Davis attacking his ex-girlfriend, and they're moving to arrest him immediately. Law enforcement agencies are reportedly conducting a full investigation. Officers have been aggressively searching for Gervonta Davis after these assault allegations surfaced, while authorities examine the evidence and continue their pursuit.
To his arrest.
Is wanted by Miami Gardens police. Davis is accused of attacking a woman who works at a gentleman's club back in October. She says he left her battered and bruised. Police are not releasing the name of the woman or the club. They did say the pair had dated in the past. Now there is a warrant out for his arrest.
The victim reported that Mr. Davis grabbed her by her back of her head, pulling her by her hair with one hand and by her throat with the other.
Last month, 3 months before this incident, he was accused of assaulting the mother of his children in an episode that allegedly happened on Father's Day. Several previous charges were dropped when the alleged victims, though, did not cooperate.
FN Boxing dropped this news on X. An arrest warrant has been issued for WBA lightweight champion Gervonta Davis. ESPN reports the warrant connects to an alleged domestic violence incident from October, listing charges of false imprisonment, battery, and attempted kidnapping. Miami Gardens police verified they're collaborating with the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force to track down Davis. The manhunt for him is ongoing. Sources describe this as an urgent and rapidly escalating situation surrounding Gervonta "Tank" Davis. This carries major legal consequences based on law enforcement briefings and official court filings. The arrest warrant was issued relating to an alleged domestic violence episode that supposedly happened in October in Miami Gardens, Florida. Investigators confirmed the incident went down at a gentleman's club where the alleged victim worked. The warrant specifies charges of battery, false imprisonment, and attempted kidnapping, which sources recognize as incredibly grave accusations. Legal analysts note that Davis hasn't surrendered himself, a factor that has significantly influenced how law enforcement is approaching this case. Sources clarify this explains why Miami Gardens police verified they're now collaborating with the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force to find him. This move isn't standard procedure and typically happens when police suspect someone might be hard to track down or is deliberately dodging contact, marking a more intensive phase of the investigation.
Davis, also known as Tank. The victim reported that Mr. Davis grabbed her by her back of her head, pulling her by her hair with one hand and by her throat with the other. He forcefully escorted her down a stairway and toward the parking garage while maintaining his grip on the back of her head. The victim further reported they were previously involved in an intimate relationship for approximately 5 months. Lead detective Gary Florencio obtained and reviewed video surveillance footage that corroborates key elements of the victim's statement. As a result of the diligent and hard work of our Special Victims Unit, an arrest warrant has been issued for Gervonta Bryant Davis on the following charges: battery, false imprisonment, and attempted kidnapping. The investigation determined that Mr. Davis used force to restrain and attempt to remove the victim from the location against her will. The Miami Gardens Police Department is actively working with the United States Marshals Fugitive Task Force to locate and apprehend Mr. Davis.
What's up, everybody? Marcos Villegas for Fight Up TV. And let's get straight into it because this is a serious and developing situation involving Gervonta Davis. So what exactly happened? According to law enforcement and court documentation, an arrest warrant has been issued for Gervonta Davis stemming from an alleged domestic violence incident that reportedly took place back in October in Miami Gardens, Florida. Police say the incident occurred at a gentleman's club where the alleged victim worked. The charges listed on the warrant are battery, false imprisonment, and attempted kidnapping. As of now, authorities say that Gervonta has not turned himself in, which is a critical detail in how this case has unfolded. And this is where things change. Miami Gardens police confirmed they are working now with the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force to locate and arrest Gervonta Davis. This doesn't just happen automatically. When someone has an active warrant and law enforcement believes they may be difficult to locate, avoiding contact, or capable of crossing jurisdictions, U.S. Marshals are often brought in. For you guys wondering, what exactly do the U.S. Marshals do? I got you. They are the oldest federal law enforcement agency in the country, operating under the Department of Justice, and they specialize in the following: tracking and arresting fugitives, assisting with high-profile warrants, running joint task forces with local police, protecting federal courts and judges.
Witnesses describe a massive law enforcement deployment at the location, with officers stationed on the entrance steps and significant media presence, indicating how seriously authorities are treating this matter. Based on the victim's testimony, the incident happened around 4:15 a.m. during her work shift when Gervonta Davis approached her. The victim claims Davis seized her by the back of her head and neck, then physically forced her down a staircase toward a parking garage. She reported that upon reaching the garage area, He let her go, and she managed to escape back to her coworkers for protection. The victim also disclosed that she had known Davis since 2022, and they had shared an intimate relationship for approximately 5 months, which had ended roughly 1 month prior to this alleged incident. Law enforcement confirmed that lead detective Gary Florencio examined surveillance video that allegedly corroborates significant elements of the victim's statement, a factor that investigators view as crucial evidence.
Significant. Of like a press conference, they got like DAs on the step, because I'm telling you, because you guys can't see it, right? They got police officers on the step, I'm assuming media, and because I hear people taking pictures and things like that, so paparazzi, just to announce this, which we'll get into.
According to the victim's statement, at approximately 4:15 a.m. while working, the victim was approached by Mr. Davis. The victim reported that Mr. Davis grabbed her by her back of her head, pulling her by her hair with one hand and by her throat with the other. He forcefully escorted her down a stairway and toward the parking garage while maintaining his grip on the back of her head. Upon reaching the parking garage, the victim reported that Mr. Davis released her, at which point she was able to run towards her coworkers for safety. The victim further reported that she has known Mr. Davis since 2022, and they were previously involved in an intimate relationship for approximately 5 months, which ended about a month prior to the incident. Lead detective Gary Florencio obtained and reviewed video surveillance footage that corroborates key elements of the victim's statement.
Oh, so they got footage, I guess, some footage from the club. That's not good.
Florencio obtained and reviewed video surveillance footage that corroborates key elements of the victim's statement. As a result of the diligent and hard work of our Special Victims Unit, an arrest warrant has been issued for Gervonta Bryant Davis on the following charges: battery, false imprisonment, and attempted kidnapping. The investigation determined that Mr. Davis used force to restrain and attempt to remove the victim from the location against her will. At this time, the Miami Gardens Police Department is actively working with the United States Marshals Fugitive Task Force to locate and apprehend Mr. Davis. We are here.
Bro, what is going on? Like I'm gonna be real. On my channel, I keep it G. And in no way, shape, form, or fashion do I agree with assault or battery or these heinous type of charges. I have never condoned a man touching a woman in that way.
Sean Porter weighed in on what a comeback scenario for Gervonta Davis might involve, and stated clearly that specific fight matchups no longer make practical sense. Porter indicated that if Davis returns sometime around summer, a second fight with Lamont Roach seems doubtful, particularly following Roach's draw against Isaac Pitbull Cruz. From Porter's perspective, boxers frequently apply contradictory reasoning when evaluating potential opponents, celebrating a victory at one point, then retreating behind the notion that fighting styles create different outcomes. He thinks these justifications fall apart under scrutiny. Porter argued instead that Davis ought to challenge whoever wins between Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson in the 40-pound division. He stressed that weight class shouldn't serve as an excuse, noting that Davis has already competed at that level previously. Porter also touched on legacy building, explaining that even if Davis came back and lost against top-level opposition, taking on elite challenges would still command respect.
If Tank were to come back 2020, who knows, in June, summertime, what you looking at Lamont Roach? Like what are you looking at? What are you looking at?
I don't think he's going to fight him again.
Yeah.
Especially after the draw with Pitbull.
Yeah.
So I think that's like he can use that as an excuse, like, he can't even beat the guy that I beat, blah, blah, blah. You know how it goes. The same thing, boxers kill me because they'll say, on one hand, they'll say, he couldn't beat him and I beat him, and then they'll say, styles make fights. You know what I mean? It's all BS.
Yeah.
So I don't think that he's going to fight Lamont Roach. I think that he should be fighting the winner of Teofimo and Shakur. Plain and simple.
Plain and simple. At 140.
I think he has no excuse to not fight Shakur at 140 because of the size. I think he don't want to fight. I mean, he shouldn't have an excuse to fight Teo either. You went up to 140 years ago to fight Mario Barrios. So
What do you say about his legacy though? Like, let's say he does come back and it's Shakur or it's Teo, and let's say he possibly loses. Do you give him love for stepping up and getting in the ring with those guys, especially if he continue to move on and fight other guys at 140, big names at 140? Or do you say, hey, you were gone, trouble, you came back, you weren't who you used to be, how do you look at the legacy if he come back against one of those guys? Those guys been active, he hasn't been.
People backing Gervonta Davis recognize he's working through one of the most challenging phases of his professional life. As an elite-level fighter, he deals with not just the demands of maintaining championship-caliber performance, but also the crushing burden of constant public examination and personal responsibilities. Every fight, media appearance, and online activity gets analyzed by supporters and detractors, creating virtually no space for individual errors. Outside the boxing ring, Davis has to protect his public image, sustain important relationships, and address legal and career challenges that emerge without warning. This mix of athletic requirements, public pressure, and private issues generates an extraordinarily demanding situation. Supporters who remain loyal understand that championship boxing brings tremendous responsibility, and they acknowledge the psychological and emotional strength needed to maintain focus under these conditions. Their backing gives him some sense of grounding while dealing with continuous pressure.
Now, Gervonta, you better have that same energy when you get into that ring for this rematch with Lamont. Because I'm getting so tired of hearing about these DV charges you keep catching. So apparently, Gervonta Davis has been arrested for another DV case. I think this is about his third or fourth one now, probably more than that. To be honest, this don't really shock me. Because y'all remember when he was dating Ari and they had got into a real bad and he pulled her wig off in the middle of the street, right? That incident was all over the internet. And fast forward, there was another incident that happened back in 2022 with another baby mama, where she claims that she was in the car and things got really rough between them and she made a frantic call to 911, which she should not have made, she claims. And also said that Gervonta did not hurt her or her daughter. So why did you call the police? It's giving, I'm not mad no more, and at the end of the day, that's my baby daddy. So let me go ahead and scrap this up, clear up this rumor so nothing else goes any further with this. I really don't understand what be going on with men putting their hands on people. It's like, even if you want to give Gervonta the benefit of the doubt and say that he's innocent, when you got track record of 4 or 5 DV cases all proven guilty, bro, it gets to a point. Don't you blow off enough steam in the ring? And this is really disappointing for Gervonta, because it's like, do you want to throw away your career? You're literally #1 right now. You've been #1. You probably will stay #1 as long as you keep doing what you're doing. Because as many people as see it unfold, it seemed like Lamont Roach was his only real competition. He match on the way, by the way. Really big fight. He got to be there for that. I don't know what he's going through, and maybe it's just me, but I do feel like ever since that fight with Lamont Roach, he been off lately. He ain't been on social media as much. Now he going back to his ways like this. I'm gonna need to go check on that man. Y'all know what they say about boxers and the things that it does to the brain.
This isn't Gervonta Davis's first encounter with legal problems, and plenty of people think he must take genuine action to better his judgment and choices. His boxing career, despite featuring incredible accomplishments inside the ring, has frequently been clouded by recurring controversies that attract public and media focus. This current predicament represents another instance of the obstacles he encounters outside of boxing competition. People have referenced a significant incident from 2022, right before a major scheduled bout with Ryan Garcia. During that period, Davis was concentrating on training for one of the most important fights of his professional life, but unexpected legal complications diverted focus from the actual boxing match. Supporters and boxing experts were reminded that his personal decisions can directly impact his career prospects, regardless of his exceptional ring talent. Many currently believe that for Davis to completely achieve his capabilities and preserve his boxing reputation, he needs to focus on making smarter personal choices and discovering methods to prevent ongoing controversies.
Transpired, I don't know any of the details. This is the information that is available to us as of this recording. So again, I'm saying unfortunate news because Tank Davis is scheduled to fight, and he's scheduled to fight in 11 days, and it's almost midnight my time, Pacific Standard Time. So that means really 10 days. Does this affect in any way? Will this affect Tank Davis and his fight? You know, I don't know. I don't know all the details, but we've seen stuff like this happen before in the past. And since it's so fresh, today being December 27th, I don't think it will impact or, postpone his fight or anything like that, because it'll be too quick to go to trial or anything like that. However, some would wonder, could this affect him mentally, right? You left Mayweather Promotions, you're your own boss, doing your own thing. So this is your first foray into that. You have a difficult Olympian in terms of Hector Luis Garcia that you're getting ready to fight, a little bit taller and bigger than you. And, you know, now you have something in the background. This, I can't say it's news to Gervonta Davis in terms of him having little run-ins, because he had a run-in with some type of vehicular hit and run or whatever the situation is. So he's had court cases before. We'll see how it all plays out. Again, I don't really have any additional details. Hopefully it doesn't affect the fight, and this is situated and the details come out in due course. You know, I don't really have nothing else to say other than that. Just want to give you guys the latest news, but Gervonta Davis was arrested, DV.
That wraps up today's coverage. Catch you next time.